Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Face the Expert webinar series by Dr. Batras, where we provide health solutions at the fingertips. Thank you all for viewing the webinar and registering for it for today. This is the 6th webinar, and we've really come a long way. Hair loss is a growing concern. More than 50% of Indians suffer from various hair problems like hair thinning, hair fall, dandruff, etc. Hair loss, we now know, is not just a superficial problem that we can see. It's no more cosmetic. It could be a sign of underlying diseases such as thyroid, PCOS, hormonal imbalance, iron deficiencies, diabetes, etc. In fact, studies have even connected hair loss to heart diseases. Certain off-the-shelf products and in-salon treatments are no more an answer to hair loss because they may not be safe, they are definitely not customized, and they do not solve the problem from the root. All this justifies with homeopathy because homeopathy is safe, it solves from the root, and it is customized. So hair loss, we know, is not a it's not a cosmetic problem, it's a medical problem, and hence it needs medical attention with medical expertise only. So here's presenting the 6th webinar today, which is Pledge to Save Your Hair. We have with us 2 international hair experts who've been former presidents of global hair institutions. They together take a stand today to save us from this problem. One of the hair experts is our very own Dr. Akshay Batra, backed by public demand. He's an international trichologist. He's been a former president of the Trichological Society London. He's now the advisor for India. We have a special guest speaker tonight, this morning. He's the former president for the European Hair Research Society. He's published scientific papers on androgenetic alopecia, alopecia areata, and many other hair loss conditions. He had first visited India to train the team of Dr. Batras. He is the man who holds the patent to hair cloning. He's none other than Dr. Rolf Hoffmann. You all have questions on hair loss. All you need to do is type in your questions and click on the submit button on your screen, and we'll answer them all online by Dr. Akshay and by Dr. Hoffmann. We'll start with Dr. Akshay today. So before we start off with the questions, I can see a lot of questions rolling in, but before we start, Dr. Akshay, we've seen the rounds of the pledge campaign that is going on print and radio and social, everywhere, the social platforms. What is the campaign all about?
So firstly, before I start answering any of the questions, good morning, Rachna.
Good morning.
And good morning to all my friends and viewers, and thank you for logging on today. I'm so happy to see that this webinar is reaching such large volumes. And we've got my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Rolf Hoffmann today, whom I'm so excited to join me on this platform. To answer your question about the pledge, what is the hair pledge and why have we taken it? I think hair loss is a growing concern. A lot of people are losing hair nowadays, and they don't know what to do with the hair loss. I think the idea of this pledge is first to spread awareness that hair loss is treatable. A lot of patients find hair loss very socially embarrassing. For them, it's not so much of a medical issue the way we see it. For them, it's a social issue. For them, hair loss, prevents them from getting jobs, prevents them from having confidence. Sometimes prevents them from looking their age. They look a lot older. From finding the right brides. So hair loss is a social problem today, and the pledge, the first idea is to create awareness. That you don't need to live with hair loss. The second idea of the pledge is to spread knowledge. If you spread knowledge, then you're actually telling people what they can do about the hair loss. And the third, of course, is to take action. So knowledge, awareness, and action are the 3 ideas of the pledge, and that's why we've taken this pledge out, really to show people of our country that you don't need to live with hair loss anymore. There are treatments available. Please come forward, ask us whatever questions you need. We are here to help you. I think hair loss is also shrouded by lots and lots of myths. As you know, we've been running this very interesting contest on crazy hair remedies, and you'll be amazed to see the kind of things that people do for their hair.
Oh, yes, I've seen some of them.
Where, putting beer on their scalp and breaking an egg on their head and putting strawberries and honey and maple syrup and all those crazy things. And I mean, I don't need to say it, but none of this is going to help you with your hair loss. So we want to take a stand. We want to educate people on hair loss. We want them to have knowledge about how to treat it, so that then they are free to take action to address their concerns accordingly.
That's really nice. I've actually watched one of those videos on the crazy hair remedies, and it's very, very interesting. I'm waiting for the culmination. I'm sure there'll be something coming up from the brand. So going on to the questions, we'll start with the first question of the day, which comes from Mr. Om Prakash Arya from Varanasi.
Sure.
His question is, can hair be regrown when lost? What is the reason? I'm sorry. Can hair be regrown when lost? What is the reason for hair loss? How to treat it naturally?
Okay, Om Prakash, there are lots of questions to ask in one question actually. The first part was, can hair loss be regrown? Let me tell you that definitely yes. There are 40 different types of hair loss, and in most of them it's possible to regrow your hair. In some of them regrowth becomes difficult. We have to first diagnose and identify what is the type of hair loss, what is the cause of your hair loss, and then definitely we can tell you whether your hair can be grown or not. But in most cases the answer is yes. What is the safest way to regrow your hair? I think the answer is, the safest way is homeopathy, because homeopathy treats you without any side effects, and international studies have shown that homeopathic medicines are very effective in treating hair loss without any side effects. So I hope that answers your question. If there's anything else that we can do, please let us know through an email, and we'll be able to answer it personally.
Thank you. The next question comes from Lakshmi from Calicut. She says, I have hair fall problems. That too, my forehead increases its width because I think I lose my hair mainly from the front portion. I feel like I have a wide forehead with little thickness in the front. I am afraid if I will go bald. My father is bald. It has affected my brothers as well. I am fully tensed as being a girl. I don't know what remedy should I take, hoping for a suitable and affordable solution.
So Lakshmi, thank you for your question. I think you've raised a very important question. Being a girl, hair loss is something very, very concerning. I don't have your age, which is something I would need to help to answer your question better. Let me tell you that the pattern of hair that you are losing with is not what is commonly seen in women. Women commonly see hair loss in the parting, they commonly see hair loss on the sides, and women lose hair differently from men. It is commonly seen in men that the hair recedes from the front and you see the bald patch. In women, a receding hairline is not really common. You do have a strong family history of hair loss. My suggestion is, please visit one of our doctors. They'll recommend some blood tests to you. We need to see whether there are any abnormal hormone levels which are causing this hair loss. So as soon as we can do that, we'll be in a better position to tell you. It seems to be, of course, because of your family history, but it also seems to be because of an abnormal hormone level, which we need to sort out only through blood tests. And once we sort that out and find that out, definitely we can help to treat you.
Sure. The next one comes from Deva Madurai. I am in the second year of engineering. My age is 19. My hair loss is very high. In this age, how to control hair loss without side effects? In my dad's occupation, the wages earned are 7,000 rupees monthly. This is not enough for my family, so I have no money for your treatment. Can you provide a treatment for me?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. Again, quite a few questions to answer in one. Let me start by saying that you're 19 and you're losing a lot of hair. This is something that is common. We earlier saw hair loss happening at the age of 30. We're now seeing it happening in the age of 20s. In fact, I just got a note from a friend this morning saying that she's concerned about her hair loss of her son who's 15 and wants to prevent it. Hair loss is becoming a growing concern now, and since you're 19, I understand it is a concern for you. Definitely we can treat you. Now to talk about your financial worry, let me just tell you that at Dr. Batra's, a patient has never ever been turned away for want of money. We have student packages, we have EMI options, and we even have a certain quota of free treatments in every clinic. So please visit our clinics, and I'm sure that my doctors will live up to the expectation and help you out.
Wow, that's great. The next question comes from Mohammad Azharuddin from Bhubaneswar. His question is hair transplantation safe?
Okay, that's a very good question. Hair transplant is generally a safe procedure. Again, I will say generally because we all know that recently there was a very sad incident of a young student who passed away during a hair transplant in some city from some obscure center. While a hair transplant is generally safe, it's very important to do it at the right place. A hair transplant needs to be done in a minor OT setting. You need to have the right surgeon doing it. Very often people who are doing hair transplants today are not surgeons. They're just, some are dentists, some are nurses. So you have to be careful about who you pick for your hair transplant. If you pick well, a hair transplant will always be successful. At Dr. Batra's, we've done over 7,000 hair transplants. We've not had any issue till date so far. All our patients have been satisfied. It's a very simple procedure. Your hair is removed from the back. You know, men never lose hair from the back of the scalp.
That's right.
That hair is removed and positioned onto other areas of baldness. And that hair then continues to grow for the rest of your natural life. So it's a very simple procedure. Let me again caution you that a hair transplant is not for everyone. Young people who are losing hair are generally recommended a transplant only once their natural hair loss stabilizes. Okay. So if your natural hair loss is stable, if you're above say 22, 23 years of age, 24 years of age, and depending on the extent of baldness that you have, a hair transplant will definitely be a good option for you.
Okay. The next one comes from Ashok Saini from Jaipur. His question is, sir, I'm 25 years old and I'm suffering from male pattern baldness. It is genetic too. Is it curable or not by means of homeopathy?
Yeah, so again, a very good question. You're 25 years old and you have a history of hair loss in the family. A family history of hair loss can come from both sides of the family. It's not always only the father or the mother. Okay. So either your father or your mother, your chachas, mamas, nana, dada, if they have hair loss, it can definitely come down to you. Can it be treated? Definitely it can be treated. A lot of the cases of male pattern hair loss nowadays are because of heredity factors. And with the right and early treatment, you can definitely treat your hair loss. We need to do a test on you, which is a very simple computerized hair test to see how many of your hair are in the falling phase, how many are in the growing phase, how much hair you've lost. Once we do that test, we can definitely tell you how the results of your treatment will be. But I'm quite confident that if it's early, you'll definitely get some good results.
Okay, and this test is available at all the clinics?
At all our clinics, yes.
Okay. Okay, so the next question is from Kumar S. Raj, Chennai. Yeah. His question is how to stop hair fall with home remedies and diet to prevent it.
Crazy hair remedies. Okay, now let me tell you that diet is very important for hair. Hair is one of the fastest growing cells in the human body, and therefore if you don't nourish yourself well, you will lose hair. A common cause of hair loss nowadays is crash dieting, where people want to lose weight very quickly. They want to become size 0. Right. And losing weight is good as long as you do it the right way. If you crash diet, you'll definitely lose your hair as well as your weight. To answer your question, iron and proteins are good for hair, but let me tell you that these are not remedies for hair loss. Again, as you heard this morning, hair loss is a medical concern and needs medical intervention and treatment. Diet is one aspect of it. Okay. So at our clinic, along with medication, we'll recommend you what you need to do to take better care of your hair in terms of using the right products, how often to wash your hair, what shampoo to use, what diet you can follow to supplement your treatment. Okay. So diet can be a supplementary part of your treatment, but not the mainstay. Having said that, like I said, if you have good hair and you continue to eat well and take iron and protein in your diet, I think you should be okay.
Okay. So the next question comes from Mayur from Bengaluru. His question is, I am only 19 years old and suffering from dandruff and hair fall since 2 years. I don't know the exact cause, but it may be hereditary and started first due to water change. I had used many oils and tablets suggested by various doctors, but it goes on increasing day by day. How can it be controlled and what diet should be followed?
Okay, again, a slightly similar question to the earlier one that we answered. A 19-year-old boy, student. I seem to now see that a lot of students at a young age are losing their hair. Yeah. And 19-year-old with dandruff, hereditary hair loss, tried a lot of oils and shampoos and medication from doctors, but not worked. Not worked. I think again, the most important thing is we got to identify the cause of your hair loss. Okay? Taking treatment or trying home remedies or parlor procedures without identifying the cause of your hair loss will not attend to your hair loss or address your hair loss. Hair loss can be because of various concerns: hereditary, hormone levels, polycystic ovaries in girls, iron levels being low, and various other causes, thyroid disorders. What we do at our clinic is when patients come to us, by seeing the hair, we also come to know what the underlying disorder is. And then we ask for tests to find out what the cause of the hair loss is. Once you identify the cause of your hair loss, your treatment will be effective. Just taking treatments randomly for hair loss is not going to be effective. Hair is a very complex subject. There's a reason why people like me specialize in this subject, and people like Dr. Rolf Hoffmann. It's not a subject that can be dealt with by a general medical degree. It is a specialization, rather it's a super specialization. Even though it seems to be very simple, there are various aspects to it, and therefore if you consult the right person, you will definitely get the right answer.
Okay. The next one comes from Gaurav Gupta from Alwar. His question is, क्या उड़े हुए बाल वापस आ सकते हैं?
गौरव जी नमस्कार. डेफिनेटली जो उड़े हुए बाल हैं वो वापस आ सकते हैं. जैसे मैंने अंग्रेज़ी में ये सवाल का उत्तर दिया था थोड़ी देर पहले, आपकी एज पे डिपेंड होता है, आपके टाइप ऑफ हेयर लॉस पे डिपेंड होता है, पर ज़्यादातर जो उड़े हुए बाल हैं वो वापस ज़रूर आ सकते हैं ट्रीटमेंट के साथ. आप अगर जांच कराएं कि आपके हेयर लॉस का जो कॉज है वो क्या है, कॉज जानने से उस हिसाब से अगर ट्रीटमेंट करेंगे तो डेफिनेटली जो आपके उड़े हुए बाल हैं वो वापस आ सकते हैं.
Okay. The next one comes from Manisha Zahoor from Jammu. The question is, I have PCOD problem and I lose my hair. What can I do?
The questions seem to be coming far and wide from everywhere today, all the corners of India.
Yes.
I think the answer to that one is that PCOD is a very, very common cause of hair loss in young girls. The signs and symptoms are that you lose hair, baal jhadte hain, you start getting a little bit of hair growth on the face, which girls get, sometimes a little on the hands as well, and you start to miss your periods. It can also be associated with weight gain. Now this is a very common thing, and I'm finding in practice that in our clinics we see that at least 1 or 2 in every 5 young girls has PCOD.
Oh.
It's easy to treat the hair loss related to PCOD if you treat the PCOD. Like I said, you have to treat the cause. If you treat the cause, the hair loss is a symptom and that gets better as well. Therefore, with the right effective treatment, if you treat your PCOD correctly, your hair loss can definitely come under control.
Okay. Next one comes from Jaskaran from Patiala.
Yeah.
I want to ask about hair loss. I move my hand in hair. I can easily see many hair coming out. How to tackle this naturally and in future grow my hair and not get bald? Is it related to testosterone hormone also? How can it be treated? I generally lose my hair from the front area.
Okay, if I can, that was a long question. So if I can understand again that he's moving his hand through his hair and a lot of hair is falling.
Right.
This means that you're in the active stage of hair loss and your hair loss is acute. You have to do something to treat your hair loss now. Okay, hair loss, or rather baldness, happens because of 2 reasons. If you understand it, it's very easy. Either your hair fall becomes too much, or your hair fall being normal, your rate of hair growth is less than the rate of hair fall.
Okay.
So whenever there's an imbalance, it's like a weighing scale. So whenever there's an imbalance in your hair fall and your hair growth ratio, you start to bald. So from Jaskaran's question, I see that definitely his hair loss is more than normal. He's losing hair from the front.
Right.
There are 2 lines of treatments I would recommend here. The first is that treat your hair loss now quickly to see that the number of hairs that's falling comes under control. It's normal for us to lose hair. It is normal.
Okay.
We don't understand that hair loss is a normal process, but it should be within certain limits. So usually they say if you see 50 strands of hair falling a day, you're okay. If you see more than that, you have an issue. Again, from his question, it seems that he's losing hair more than that.
Much more than that.
So the first line of treatment is to bring the hair loss under control. The second line of treatment then is to see what other treatments can be added to increase hair growth. Now again, if he says he's losing hair from the front and if the hairline has receded, the only answer for a receding hairline is a hair transplant. And again, a hair transplant should be done only after his active hair loss is under control. So bring your active hair loss under control and then look at a hair transplant.
Okay. The next question is from Pankaj, New Delhi. I've lost 70% upper part of my hair. Please give me a solution for my hair loss.
Okay, so Pankaj ji, you seem to again have, what I can understand is you seem to have male pattern hair loss. and you've lost 70% of the upper part of your hair. Now again, what's important is to identify whether you're still losing hair actively. So we do a little test which is called a hair pull test, where we just run our finger through your hair and see how much hair is falling. Based on that test, we come to know, and of course with our video microscopic test as well, we come to know whether your hair loss is in its active phase or your hair loss is not in its active phase right now, and perhaps your rate of growth is slower than normal.
Okay.
So that's the first thing we need to find out. If your hair loss is active, we need to then treat that active hair loss. For the hair that's already gone, if you've lost 70% of hair on your scalp, there are 2-3 solutions that you can look at. You can look at a stem cell treatment which might be able to get some of the hair back. You can look at a hair transplant again, which will be able to cover up some part of the baldness.
Okay.
And if it's really extensive, then you can look at some sort of a toupee or wig, which would be an answer to cover the entire area that you've lost.
Okay. And all these solutions are available with Dr. Batras?
Yes, all these solutions are available with us.
That's great. So there's a lot of choice. The next question comes from Pavan. The question is, alopecia areata with multiple patches on head from 15 years. Is it possible to grow hair on patches? Can you let me know?
So before I answer that question, I'd like to go back one step and talk a little more about the comment you made saying that there are lots of options for hair treatment available.
Okay.
I think I'd like to say that hair treatments have changed completely in the last few years, where lots of things have now been added.
Okay.
Earlier treatments were limited to 1 or 2. Today treatments are multifold. I think what's important today is selecting the right treatment for the patient.
Okay.
So our job also is to identify the type of hair loss, identify the underlying cause, and then importantly pick and customize a treatment to see that what suits the patient.
Okay.
So that's also very, very important. While there are multiple treatments out there, they are not all for you.
Okay.
Right? Some are definitely for you. We need to, as doctors, responsibly pick for our patients what the best solutions are once we know what the patient is looking for. So when I sit with patients, I ask them, what do you want? What is your concern? Is your concern baldness on the top? Is your concern the hairline? Is your concern that you're still losing hair? And then based on the patient's concern, we tailor make a treatment to suit the patient's need.
Okay.
Now coming back to the question of alopecia areata. Alopecia areata is a condition where one loses hair in patches. This is a condition of concern. I'm trying to find the right words to say that. What's important is that here the patches can spread very rapidly, and the patches can spread to the entire scalp. Sometimes patients lose hair from their head, their eyebrows, their hands, and all over their body as well because of this condition. So it has to be dealt with very carefully.
Okay.
Having said that, the good side, everything has 2 sides, and the good side to this is that even though you can lose hair very rapidly, your hair follicle is not damaged, and therefore it is possible to get your hair back. There are various treatment options available. Again, we've got to identify whether this is because of an autoimmune condition, which it is mostly, whether it's linked to thyroid, which it can be, whether it's linked to anemia, for how long you've had it. But treatments for this condition are definitely possible. This condition is also known to go into remissions and relapses, which means that hair is known to come and go. But with good effective treatment, your hair loss can be treated and your hair can come back and it can remain.
Okay. The next question comes from Sai. I am suffering from dandruff and hair loss. I'm getting pimples on the head, and dandruff is going on increasing because of this. Hair loss is also more than 100 to 150 strands. I can see hair coming out of the roots. What is the main cause of this type of hair loss? Will the dandruff be completely cured, and how much time will it take to get it cured?
Okay, again a rather long question.
Multiple questions.
I'll try to answer it. Again, you seem to be having dandruff, which is excessive. You seem to be losing hair, like you said, you've quantified it for me, more than 100 or 150 strands.
Right.
Definitely you can be treated. You haven't given me your age, but if you're young, anything under 40, 45, definitely we can help you. The first line of treatment is to arrest this increasing rate of hair fall. That's the first thing to do. We can definitely do that through treatment. Usually this takes about 3 to 4 months. So in 3 to 4 months, whatever excessive hair you're losing comes under control, and after that gradually your hair growth process starts. We can definitely help you out. with your dandruff as well as with your hair fall. With dandruff, we've got to again recommend you a regime that you can follow along with some treatment. And with a combination of a good regime, a good diet and good treatment, definitely we can help you out.
Okay. The next question is from Uma Nagpur. I'm 40 years old. I have an oily scalp. Is it a reason for hair loss? Do you recommend to apply oil on my hair scalp? What kind of homeopathy treatment would you recommend?
Can you just repeat that for me? I lost it somewhere. I'm so sorry.
So she's 40 years old.
Yeah.
She has an oily scalp, which she thinks is the reason for hair loss. Should she apply oil on the scalp, and would homeopathy be able to treat?
Homeopathy will definitely be able to treat if you're losing hair. Can you apply oil on your scalp? If you already have an oily scalp, oil is not really recommended. I think oil is a big misnomer in India, and we've been grown up to believe that oil helps to grow our hair long and make our hair strong.
Right.
That's not true. Oil does not help to grow your hair, but oil will help you to condition your hair and your scalp. So if you have dry hair or you have a dry scalp, oil is a good option. Like she's mentioned, her scalp is already rather oily, and therefore she doesn't need to apply any oil. She needs to look at why her hair is falling and treat that accordingly.
Okay. The next one comes from Richa Sharma. How to control trichotillomania apart from using medicines?
Okay, I'm waiting for my colleague and friend Dr. Hoffman to log on now, because there's so many questions coming in. I could use his help to answer some of them.
Sure.
I think we're 2 minutes away from him coming in.
Right.
So looking forward to that. Trichotillomania.
Right.
Trichotillomania is a rather unknown condition where people, because of stress, pull their hair out and sometimes eat it too.
Oh.
So this is a shocking condition that's seen in teenagers, and unfortunately is seen 6 times more in young girls than in young boys. So when they're going through the adjustment problems, if they have, say, parents fighting at home, if they have difficulty adjusting in school or college, like how some people pick their nails or bite their nails,
right,
or pick their skin, some people actually play with their hair, pull it out and eat it.
Oh my
So this is a dangerous condition, and it's comes under hair, but it's also classified as a psychological disorder and therefore needs treatment along with counseling. But again, with homeopathy, we get very, very good results with this condition because homeopathy is mind and body medicine, and it not only helps you with your symptoms of hair, but it also helps you on a psychological level, thereby addressing your trichotillomania wonderfully.
Okay. So, as mentioned, we are now going on to Dr. Hoffman. While we are getting connected, let me remind you, he's the man who has the patent for hair cloning, but not a time really to be happy too soon about it, because it's still on its way. I think till then, Dr. Batras is the way to go to save the hair that we've lost. Have we connected to Dr. Hoffman as yet?
So I think he's just coming on.
Yeah.
And I'd like to again, while he comes on, say that I'm very, very pleased to welcome him on this forum. He is someone I met a few years ago when he made and developed an instrument called the TrichoScan. Oh, there he is. So talk about the man, and here he is. So we'll log him in. Hello? Hello?
Dr. Rolf online.
Yes, please connect him. Hello?
Yes, hello, Akshay.
Good morning, Rolf. How are you?
We are driving, but otherwise, it's fine.
Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Germany, and we've got many, many people here waiting to hear you and hear from you. Mm-hmm. Is there something you'd like to say generally before we start with the questions?
No, not really. So maybe I just shall say it's a pleasure for me to have you all on the phone and give you some answers. And as I cannot see the patient, I can only give some general advice, of course.
Yes, of course.
Details, yeah.
Yeah. So
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. So this is a webinar, and we've got about 3,000 people online listening. So that's a large number. Yes, we have about three.
That's a large number. Yes.
That's a large number, but still rather small for our country in India, and they're all waiting to hear from you. So I'm going to shoot with the first question. The first question is, dear sir, I am 32 years old and I have polycystic ovaries since the last 4 years. I am losing a lot of hair. Can PCOD be the cause of my hair loss?
Yeah, this question I've already seen. Here the answer is polycystic ovary syndrome is of course just a syndrome with androgen excess, and women with this syndrome have, due to the androgen excess, hair loss. So it's just a very advanced stage of pattern hair loss triggered by PCO. So here the advice would be she needs really an endocrinological gynecologist.
Yes.
Get the hormones checked and possibly get a treatment with an anti-androgen.
Yes.
But in addition, she really should take minoxidil, because this is a completely different mechanism. So that's the only answer. That's the real advice. So gynecologist plus minoxidil plus anti-androgen then and minoxidil, and this should then eventually help.
Perfect. So I'm just going to repeat that answer so that it's clear to all our viewers, where PCOS is can be a cause for hair loss, and what's needed here is a gynecological endocrinological evaluation along with some specific treatment for the hair loss.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm moving on to the second question now. Sir, I am taking treatment for my hair for the last 2 years. The results are good, but they are slow. Is there any fast way to regrow my hair?
Yeah, first of all, it's good that this person is on treatment, and I do hair research and hair clinics for more than 25 years. And it's a common theme that patients are impatient to see hairs growing. So what he wants is no. It's just human nature that 1 centimeter per month hair growth, and there's no way to speed the regrowth of hair up. Just to be, the advice is just wait and be happy that you see a positive response. There's nothing you can do about it to make it quicker.
Okay, so I can repeat that again just for the viewers, where his advice is that he's been practicing for the last 25 years. And of course, you know, he's a great name in the field of hair research as well as hair treatment. And his advice is that getting results in hair loss is a good thing. And he's glad that you're taking treatment. You need to continue with the treatment, and there's nothing really to do to speed up the rate of hair loss. As long as you're getting results, it's a good thing. Please carry on with the treatment that you're using. Right?
Yes, very right. You have actually the much better word than I do. So congratulations on this. Yeah.
Well, English is my first language, Rolf, like yours is German. So if we were doing the webinar in German, I'm sure you would have found the right words. But this is great. I'm only here to help, translate into Indian English.
Yeah, okay, good.
So the next question is male pattern hair loss heredity for sure? Can it be prevented in some way? I am 22 years old and have a strong history of hair loss.
So here the answer is yes, for sure. It's hereditary. But young men often look to the fathers and grandfathers and have the fear that they get the same degree of hair loss as the fathers and grandfathers.
Yep.
So, and this is not the case. So the grandfather or the father is not, let's say, the benchmark of the hair loss. It just shows you that this person will get pattern baldness, pattern hair loss, but so the degree of it must not be the same. It can actually be milder.
Right.
And to prevent this, the only way to prevent this is really to start treatment very early. With the first signs of hair thinning, let's say hair loss on the crown or on the temple, then finasteride would be a very good choice.
Right.
And then typically the hair loss just does not appear. And I explain to my patients, they can start even at the age of 18. When I see the first signs of male pattern baldness, then I prescribe finasteride And what I do is I typically take only half of the dose. So
Right.
1 milligram every second day is way enough to
treat it.
prevent this time of hair loss.
Right. Okay, so if I can again just clarify that answer since you're on the phone, the answer is that hair loss is definitely hereditary, but people often look to their parents and fathers and grandfathers to see the extent of hair loss. Your extent of hair loss does not have to be the same as other people in your family. It can often be milder. What's very, very important is to start your treatment early. I think in all types of hair loss, starting treatment early is critical. And therefore, even at the age of 18, if you're that young and see early signs of hair loss, getting onto a line of treatment and a regime of treatment is something that can help you going forward. Is that right, Rolf? Am I?
Yes, that's completely right.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay, another question. Sure.
Yeah, by the way, in a few minutes we will drive to a small valley. Maybe the connections might not be that good, but you will see and then you may call in a bit later.
Certainly.
Next question?
Yeah, the next question is that is from a lady who's 27 years old saying that she has low iron levels and she wants to know if this can lead to hair loss.
Yeah, this is very simple to answer. Low iron level, and typically a person does not necessarily need an anemia, but low iron level or low ferritin levels, which are the iron storage protein, they are definitely a cause for hair loss. And I see women with very low levels, and they sometimes lose 25 or 30% of their hair. And the good thing is, once these iron levels are restored, all those hairs will grow back. But this again takes time, sometimes 3 to 6 months.
Yes.
So iron levels are important, as well as vitamin D. Maybe not a problem in India, but here in Germany during winter times, vitamin D is very often a deficiency. And in addition, people should check for, of course, thyroid hormones. But iron level and ferritin levels are very important. And they need to be not in the just normal range. They should be
much higher. That's right.
In a pretty good normal range for women.
That's right. That's a very good answer, Rolf, because I often tell my patients, especially women who come to me, that I hope your ferritin levels are low, because if they are, we can treat you very well. So correction of ferritin. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
and because you have many people in India who do not eat meat, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So the vegetarian diet can sometimes be deficient of iron, and therefore the iron stores of the body are very important. And like you heard, if you have low iron levels which is causing your hair loss, it's very easily treatable and all your hair can come back, but it does take some time. Thank you for that answer, Rolf. The next question is, sir, can smoking be related to hair loss? I'm losing hair and I smoke 1 packet a day. Can this worsen my hair loss?
So there's no real research on smoking habits and hair loss. There's, in my opinion, only anecdotal evidence that smoking will affect. But on the other hand, of course, smoking is not very good, and the 1 package per day will, of course, lower your general health.
Right.
And then people may get sick and may use different medications, and those medications may in turn lead to hair loss. So here my advice would be, well, the hair loss is not the problem with smoking. So the heart attack and the stroke is, of course, the problem. So better stop smoking and feel better.
Fantastic. So the advice is that there are bigger problems associated with smoking, like cancer and heart attacks, and therefore you should stop smoking anyway because of that. And you should be concerned more about those effects rather than just the hair loss related to smoking. The other question is from someone saying, Dear Dr. Hoffman, I have read about your achievements online and I hope my question will reach you. So certainly the question is now reaching you. I have a receding hairline and I've been told that Propecia cannot help me regrow my hair on the hairline. I have been suggested a hair transplant. Is this a good option? What is your opinion?
Yes. The receding hairline, so finasteride or also minoxidil topically, works only or predominantly when there are still hairs there, which means there is hair thinning.
Yep.
The receding hairline, when all the hairs have been gone, so when there's nothing left,
Yep.
then finasteride or minoxidil cannot work. And then, of course, a hair transplant done with by an experienced surgeon is a very good option. And I always help the patient to understand this, and I promote this idea actually.
Yep.
I also say in a hair transplant done together with finasteride has the much better results in the long term, because then the patient has hair transplant and they will not lose more hairs due to the finasteride, and then this is my advice.
Right. So again, the advice is that hair transplant is a good option. I think Dr. Hoffman has pointed out very correctly that it needs to be done by the right surgeon. I think that's very important. It's a good option, and it's a better option when you take it in combination with some other therapy to keep the hair that you have on your head.
I think I'm good with you now here.
Okay, maybe we'll try to dial you again back in.
Just continue. Small weather here in the middle of the
Sure. I'm sure you're driving in beautiful countryside while we are sitting here in an office, conducting this webinar. So I envy you and where you are, Rolf. Okay, we've lost him, but we will get him back. We couldn't actually connect on the link today, but I think having him here live is great. And as you can see, he's got so many answers and he's got so much of experience. Being the president of the European Hair Research Society is not something small anyway. So, and I'm just fortunate that he's a good friend and he agreed to do this for us.
So while we get Dr. Hoffman again on call, there are lots of questions coming in. Maybe I can ask you one of them. Ankit from Hyderabad, after trying many anti-dandruff shampoos, still dandruff is not getting cured. I tried many prescribed shampoos and Ayurvedic ones also. I use many shampoos in the last 10 years, but in vain.
Yeah, so I think this is a good question, and I'll answer it until we can get Dr. Hoffman back online. The answer is that what you see as dandruff may not always be simple dandruff. There are other conditions like seborrheic dermatitis or scalp psoriasis, which could be causing the flaking of scalp that commonly we think is dandruff. I think if you've tried all anti-dandruff shampoos and you've taken treatments and it's definitely not coming under control, please come to the clinic. We'll help you to identify what this actually is. And conditions like seborrheic dermatitis and psoriasis need treatment. You can definitely be helped, but you will need treatment for this. I think dandruff not going away with simple anti-dandruff shampoos is a cause of concern. Needs to be medically evaluated and treated accordingly.
Okay. The next question is Anurag from Gwalior.
Yep.
He says, I'm suffering from thyroid and I'm also taking the treatment from Dr. Batra's clinic. My question is how to recover my hair loss as soon as possible.
Yeah, so Anurag, I thank you first for taking treatment from our clinic in Indore, and I'm happy that you've logged on. I think you've heard Dr. Rolf Hoffman's statement, which says that there is no real quick answer for hair loss. And as long as you're getting results, please carry on. I think that's a very, very, very important message, that if you're getting results, please carry on with the treatment. It's working for you. Results will definitely continue. Results are slow but related to hair, but that's nothing to do with the form of therapy. That's to do with the general human rate of hair growth. So if something's working for you, stick by it. I know we are tempted sometimes to want things faster and quicker, particularly in the age we live in today. Everything is at our fingertips, everything is quick, everything is fast. But with regard to hair growth, if you want the right answer, stick to what's working for you and you'll definitely get there.
Okay, the next question comes from Sujit from Gurgaon. Is hair fall and white hair connected, and how do I help it?
Okay, hair fall and white hair are not connected.
Okay.
Graying of hair is a separate subject. Okay, I think we've got him back, so we can get back on the call and come back to this question.
Sure.
Hello?
Dr. Rolf.
Yes, thank you. Hello?
Yes.
Hi, Rolf.
I can hopefully now this space. Yeah.
How is the view around you?
Pardon me, once again?
How is the countryside?
The countryside here?
Yeah, no, how is the countryside? How is the weather?
Ah, okay. Well, it's it's quite nice. And we are driving to the Black Forest, and sometimes there's just no
network. Yes.
Internet in these things, but it should be now okay.
Like I said earlier, I envy you because I'm sitting in a closed room, and you know, you're driving to the Black Forest. Okay, coming back. Okay, coming back to our questions. One quick question from someone who's a 28-year-old woman again says that we have a belief in India that applying oil helps hair growth. How far is this true?
Here I need to say the word belief maybe just is very good, and it's only a belief. Here in Europe, entire Europe, nobody is using an oil.
Right.
The opposite is the case. Women are very concerned to use any kind of oil because, of course, then they have oily hair. So,
that's right.
And if nobody uses in Europe, so why should it be working in India? Sometimes,
right.
let's say, older living women with very, very dry scalp,
yep.
and the dry scalp leads to a scalp irritation.
Yep.
Then I recommend
yes.
some kind of some drops of oil just to moisten the scalp, because sometimes the skin irritation leads to hair loss.
That's right.
But that oil is a general treatment for hair loss. No, this is definitely not the case.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. Again, I think in India there's a huge oil industry which believes that, or which is propagated that oiling the scalp actually makes you, and it's a belief actually. I think it's something that's been passing down from generations, that applying oil is good for your hair. And my personal opinion, which I've always voiced, is exactly the same. That oil is a good moisturizer or a good conditioner for your scalp, but not a cure to your hair loss. Rolf, the next question is from a 32-year-old lady who says, I'm losing a lot of hair after my delivery. Is this normal, and is there a solution?
Yes, first of all, congratulations to giving birth to a child. Very good.
Yeah.
And yes, that's normal. Typically, hair loss starts, let's say, 6 or 8 weeks after delivery. And the reason for this is, during the pregnancies, there are so many growth factors and hormones and all this stuff. And this just keeps more hair alive as it would normally happen.
Yep.
And all those hairs which do not fall out during pregnancy will just fall out after the delivery. So this is a normal system. This sometimes is, well, it's a little bit of worrisome for the women, but it's a normal sign, and this hair loss will not continue. It will go on for, let's say, 2 months approximately, and then it will stop. But I guess the female is breastfeeding, and she should really check iron levels and to be in a good nutritional state.
Right.
There is no other deficiency which may also cause hair loss.
Right.
So this is important.
So perfect. I think again, just to reiterate that, the answer is that hair loss is common after delivery, and all the hair that are alive while you are carrying your baby do tend to fall after you deliver. And you know, if you're breastfeeding as well, please make sure you're in good health and good nutritional health in order to be able to feed the baby well and also feed your hair in some way, and therefore make sure that your iron levels are in order. So thank you for that. The other question we have here is that where is that gone? Yeah, I am 40-year-old. I'm a 40-year-old man, and I have tried lots of treatments for hair loss. Can you throw some light on any research and new solutions for hair loss?
Yeah, it's also a common theme that people use lots of different kinds of treatments, and of course there's no ultimate solution. Finasteride for men internally and minoxidil topically, that's the best choices. And because of the reason that there is so far no wonder drug, there's lots of research going on.
Yeah.
And I'm personally involved in a company. We try to grow cells from the hair root, and because those cells they regulate hair growth and hair thickness, and the idea is to give the balding area some fresh cells back and in mice and in early human study, it shows partial response, but we now need to do a so-called phase 2 trial, and this takes some time. So in short, the answer is there's always research ongoing, and one of the reasons is cell therapy for hair loss, and others are kind of biologics against hair loss, but it must be safe, and it will not be available this year, next year, or the year after. Everything, if something works well, then of course it's in the news immediately.
Yes. So I think there's always hope for new treatments coming up. And as you heard, Dr. Hoffman himself is associated with a lot of research on hair growth. And he's working to make sure and to find an answer for regrowing hair from the existing hair that we have. So that's wonderful, Dr. Hoffman, and we wish you all the best with that research. And we really hope that it'll come out soon so that we can offer it to people across the world for hair loss. And we're looking forward to to receiving that solution from you. Before we wind up, we have only about, I think, 5 minutes left to end. I have a question for you myself, which I know a lot of patients ask me. And I know we also discuss this in all the international forums when we meet, but how do we manage hair patients better? Because I think expectations always go through the roof, and even though patients get results, they always want it quicker, faster, better. So what is your experience with hair treatments and managing patients better?
There's a nice phrase which I learned at some time in the meeting. Most important thing for trichologists or people dealing with hair patients is managing patient expectations.
Right.
So this is really key. Of course, you need to know the things you are doing. You need to know make the right diagnosis, offer the right treatment. But still, even if you offer the right treatment and explain to the patient that all hairs will grow back in a week, then of course you will fail.
Right.
So when I do interviews with patients, it takes a while.
Right.
For me, sometimes, I would say 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes typically much shorter. What I do, I monitor the patients, I make lots of images to show the patients, let's say 6 or 12 months later, how they look like, because patients tend to forget, of course.
That's right.
And I tell that everything we do takes time, and sometimes the only response we can achieve is that it stays as it is, so that there's no further progression.
Right.
And if the patient is aware of this, that this is success, then you have a happy patient. So, but never over-promise anything.
Right.
I think that's the most important thing.
Right.
And make good monitoring images to show before and after picture.
That's right. I think that's a very good answer as well, because a lot of times hair loss is what people perceive. So if someone tells you you're looking good today and your hair is looking good, you're very happy, and if someone says it's not looking so good, you get very sad as a patient. And I think therefore the answer there is hair loss treatments take time, and monitoring it scientifically is very important. And therefore if you're able to monitor and evaluate your progress scientifically and be patient, I think that's the answer to this question. Before we wind up, Rolf, one last question which we've got multiple times is a question on hair cloning. I know it's very similar to what you're doing, so can you just shed a little more light on that, please?
The hair, I don't know, it's the way the word comes up. If somebody has put this word to the internet and people just duplicating the word hair cloning, so that a hair can be cloned or copied. So this is of course not possible. So what the companies try to do to multiplicate the stem cells from the hair root.
Yeah.
And then those cells should get injected and induce new hair growth. It's not really a cloning. So
right.
The technology is multiplication of existing
hair
cells from the own body and
that's right.
To give the cells back. So, and this is this is the key. And maybe I come back to the previous question. I always hear from patients that just don't care. So really bad would be if you tell a patient, well, what do you need? Look at me, I'm bald, so you have hair, so this makes no sense. Patients are very, very, very concerned because otherwise they would not come. And also here in Germany, I very often see women with, of course, lots of hair. Unbelievable, but they complain about all of one hair, and of course this is a misperception. And what we often do is I always call it a mild psychotherapy, right? But you just give patients expert advice, and this helps them a lot. Yeah.
So thank you for that answer. Just to again summarize that answer, I think hair follicle re-engineering is probably a more apt term, where the hair follicle cells are taken and they are multiplied and then put back onto the scalp. And that's something that's being tried out, and hopefully clinical trials will be out soon, maybe in the next 2-3 years, and we're all hopeful. Dr. Rolf Hoffmann, thank you very, very, very much once again for taking the time out on your drive, and we wish you a very nice time at the Black Forest. And thank you again immensely for doing this for us. We have a lot of people here, and I just want to add, there's a lot of misconceptions on hair, particularly in India. Like you also correctly said, people in your country as well, with full heads of hair worry about one hair falling. I think the idea of conducting these webinar series is to spread knowledge and to spread information so that patients and people watching can then take the right answer. So that's it from our side, and thank you so much for joining us in this endeavor. I'm very, very grateful and thankful to you personally, and look forward to seeing you soon. I wish you all the best once again, and have a great time.
Yes, thanks, Akshay.
Thank you, Rolf.
Bye.
Thanks, bye. Bye. Right, so back from the Black Forest now to a black head of hair. That's all I have to offer today. And I think we had a wonderful webinar. We got some fantastic answers from some experts. And what's interesting for me to see personally is that hair problems and hair myths are not so much different from India and from Europe. And therefore, I think, as you heard from Dr. Rolf Hoffmann also, the drive and the pledge to spread, to save hair, and the drive to educate people and inform them of the right treatments for hair loss is something that he was very happy to partake in. And I personally believe that's the right way to go. And therefore, from my side, to end the webinar, I'd like to thank you all for being here. And once again, thank you. And I take the pledge to save hair and hope that you take it with me as well.